Today it is my real pleasure to speak with Nate Zeleznick for the second time in the podcast. Nick, you are a pioneer in blending ancient breathwork, martial arts, and modern biohacking for unlocking ultimate human potential. You are the founder of the Integrated Ascension Method, IM, and you are passionate about about empowering individuals to unlock their dormant abilities and achieve breakthroughs physically, mentally, and spiritually. Nate, welcome back to Personal Development Mastery. It's such a pleasure to speak with you again.
It's a pleasure to be back, and hello again to everyone out there watching or listening.
I do remember our previous conversation, and it was just over a year ago, but I still remember it vividly. And that was, I will say, for reference, and the listener can find the episode was 390. In that episode, you talked about the ancient Indonesian technique that you brought to the Western world, a technique that awakens hidden human potential. And today, my intention is to go deeper into the practice, especially the breathwork elements of the practice, and explore how this unique method can transform our energy, performance, and even longevity. So we'll talk about all that. What I would like to start with is, let's talk about because we spoke about a year ago. The question I wanted to ask, just to bridge us to that time over there, is particularly how has your mission of sharing the White Dove method has evolved over the last year. So what is different now than when I met you a year ago?
Yeah, so much is different. So first of all, the White Dove method is the ancient Indonesian breathwork, meditation, energy development, healing, and extrasensory art that I helped pioneer in America 25 years ago. So that is an amazing unicorn in the energy world and the human potential and athletic world by itself. But now my new business is the Integrated Ascension Method, or the IM for short. Because I have always been a biohacker. I've always been a nerd. I always wanted the cheat codes on the video game. How can I get power ups faster? And if there's anybody else out there like that, you know what I mean. And so now what I do is I take the amazing breath work it's truly unique. It is truly, truly unique in the world. It's not like anything else I've ever seen. But then I add in things like biohacking and vibroacoustic therapy, brainwave entrainment, binaural beat technology that is the most advanced of the sort in the world. And the founder and the creator of it is a dear friend of mine. He's one of the most renowned composers in the meditation and sound space. Nutrition, organic nutrition, body code and emotion code. I'm a licensed therapist for both of those modalities, and so many other things. That's why it's the Integrated Ascension Method, because it integrates all these amazing things so that 1 + 1 = 1 billion instead of 1 + 1 = 2. But for so long, I was only really doing one, which was the White Dove Method, which by itself is enough to completely revolutionize your health and your life and your abilities and your perceptions. But why settle for just one when you have 1 billion? And so that's what's been present for me in the past year, Agi, is to just working and continually figuring out, how can I help people do more with less time, less stress, have it be more economical, and really, it doesn't mean it's less effort, because you do have to move your body. Of course, you don't get a bodybuilder's physique by going in and never lifting weights, right? But this truly is, like, I would say, the CrossFit or the triathlon training of the energy world. But anybody can do it. If you are a Navy SEAL, or if you are someone with asthma and who only has one lung, you will still be able to use this to better your life and do it quickly. So there have been many, many changes that have happened. I've added an app where people can go to either Google Play or Apple Store, and they can look for I Am Breath Mastery. All separate words, I Am Breath Mastery. Download my app for free. It's the only one of its kind in the world. And this is something where people get free breath work. They also get to see both of my TV station shows, where I host 2 different shows on Gnostic TV, as well as on the Pyramid Meditation channel, which is that's a global channel. And I get the opportunity to interview some of the most amazing, powerful, forward-thinking disruptors in the world, in everything from genomics to stem cells to energy medicine to tantra to energy healing, martial arts, you name it. Have had people from the Art of Living Foundation, which is like one of the largest meditation groups in the entire world. I've had 2 of the top people just in the past month. I've interviewed them. So you get a lot of amazing perspective and a lot of actual usable skills and things on my TV shows and through my app. And I've got, one thing that a lot of online programs really struggle with, Agi, is consistency. I think we've all bought programs online and then we're like, oh, this is going to be so great. I'm so excited. I paid all this money. And then I didn't do anything with it. And with this app, with my 6-week challenge, it takes you from point A to point, holy crap, in diet, in breath work, in exercise, in flexibility, in pain relief, in nervous system regulation, in a step-by-step method where you actually have community and you have me at your disposal to ask questions. So that has been a game changer as well. So I could keep going on and on. There have been a lot. So people can just go to my website and you'll see a whole bunch of stuff.
Sure, I will. Thank you for that. I will reiterate something that you said about the effort, that it could still take effort, and I also will say that everything like that needs effort. There is no magic button to press and instantly change. And what you said about people buying courses and not doing anything with it, that is the lack of effort and consistency and discipline needed. But anyway, I will I will leave it that. From all the aspects that you mentioned that the integrated ascension method includes or contains, I would, as I mentioned earlier, I would really like to focus or go deeper today on the breathwork element. So the first thing, let me ask you about the White Dove breathwork, which you already said it is unique, one of a kind. I read that kind of description. Can you explain what sets it apart from other traditional breathwork methods like pranayama, Wim Hof?
Well, and those 2 right there are very different. Wim Hof and holotropic breathwork, they're kind of the same. DMT breathwork, they're kind of the same in a lot of ways, in that they're hyperventilation, or actually I like to call it superventilation, where you're breathing rapidly over and over and over time. And a couple things happen when that happens. I'm going to bring this all the way back, but a lot of people need to know about this, that when you do those kinds of breath work things, it's not necessarily harmful, but you do need to know that by over oxygenating your system, you're actually increasing the acidity of your blood. And so it forces your kidneys to pump out what is known as bicarbonate. Now, bicarbonate, we've all heard of it, right? Baking soda, bicarbonate of soda. It's not exactly baking soda, but if you have an upset stomach and too much acid and you take baking soda, it's going to neutralize that, right? So it wants to move you from acid over to alkaline. So your body gets very acidic when you do those things, and your kidneys have to compensate for that. So it's hard on your kidneys. The other thing is that when we hyperoxygenate and we don't replace enough carbon dioxide, our body thinks we're doing something fatal. So that's one of the reasons why people get lightheaded. They have these visions. Okay, yeah, you're hyperventilating until you get high, and that's okay. Maybe you're releasing DMT. Maybe you're just asphyxiating yourself. Literally, studies have been done with dogs, and this is terrible. I'm sorry, animal lovers. I am one too. I'm sorry to say this next part, but studies have been done with dogs where they put a mask on them and forced oxygen into their lungs, and it killed them. Too much oxygen oxidizes our body inside. It's not a good thing. So the catalyst to release that is carbon dioxide. Without carbon dioxide, we can't release the oxygen molecules from the hemoglobin in our blood. That's the key. So if you hyperoxygenate and breathe over and over and over again, over like doing those things, it's kind of like you're filling up your briefcase with $1 billion, but you can't open it because you don't have the right combination. And so your brain actually will constrict the blood vessels by up to 50% because too much oxygen in your brain can be fatal. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those. They also have their benefits as far as chemical changes in the body. But it's important, I think, for people to know it's not just about hyperventilating until you get high, pass out, throw up, or see God. There are some things happening in your body that is probably good to know about. So where that will differ is when you go over to pranayama and you're talking about longer, slow breathing and some breath holding for a few seconds. That works on a different system in our body. And then you have the white dove or the merpati putih. The Indonesians call it merpati putih, which translates to white dove. And this breath work is what is known as intermittent hypoxia. So we know hypoxia is bad. That's a lack of oxygen to your brain, right? So if you were to be in an airplane at 35,000 feet and the door opened and you didn't have oxygen, you would die of hypoxia. People on Everest die of hypoxia. Not a good thing. However, intermittent hypoxia, it is so beneficial for the body that in 2019, the Nobel Prize in Medicine and Physiology was won by a team of researchers studying intermittent hypoxia and the effects on the body. Amazing things have been shown to happen with diabetes and cancer. So, as well as many other things. So when we do intermittent hypoxia, holding our breath for long periods of time or using carbon dioxide therapy, but nobody has a carbon dioxide tank at home, right? So we can hold our breath. A few very important things happen. First of all, we produce more red blood cells. So it's going to help oxygenate our body more. Second of all, you are activating your mitochondria, so they will work more efficiently. Second thing is you're going to increase your metabolism. So you're going to burn fat faster. You're going to regulate your appetite more, because most people don't know that the majority of the weight that we lose comes out of our breath. It's not our diet. It's not our exercise. It's through our breath. And we also detox. Over 70% of our toxins leave out of our breath. So that can also be had with the hyperventilation or superventilation types, but you're also packing in a whole bunch of toxins, right, with too much oxygen. So those are just a few of the benefits that come with an intermittent hypoxic breath work. It's like high altitude training that athletes do. You know, they go to high altitude and then they go to sea level and they have all this energy. Well, you can do that naturally through the Integrated Ascension Method. Specifically, we use different body postures, tension in different parts of our body with different pressurization techniques for our lungs and our pulmonary system, along with different energy and meditation exercises for the nervous system, to create truly a unicorn of a system that I've never seen anything like this before. People love Qigong and they love Tai Chi and they love to do pranayama. They love these things and they're all healthy. And I encourage anybody who's interested in using your body more efficiently and better to explore the energetic side of it. Don't just go like, oh, Newtonian, this is just matter. No, you are a spiritual being having a physical experience, not the other way around. But you'll never figure it out unless you either have like a near-death experience, you have an amazing plant medicine journey, which means you have to be brave enough to even step into that realm, or you go looking for it. And when you look, you'll find. But if we judge, if we put ourselves in a box and say, this is what my beliefs are, see, beliefs are an interesting thing because they can change based upon new evidence. But we also have our cognitive bias that says, I don't believe in aliens. I think the world is flat. I don't think meditation does anything. I don't think Qi is real. And we have these blocks. So I'd encourage people out there to just ask the question, well, what if that was true? How would my life change if chi was real, if the world really was round? Whatever paradigm you're at, having the right answer may be smart, yes, but having the right question is genius. And when we ask, we can receive. When we judge, we've already closed it off. We can only output, and rarely is the human even capable of distinguishing what is actually true from what is patently false, because we have our own judgments and biases and values and beliefs. And so those are the main differences, Agi. They all have their place. Wind sprints, powerlifting. They're both forms of exercise. Breathwork is not breathwork, is not breathwork. There are many kinds, and I would encourage people to explore all of them and what helps you be healthiest and feel best.
That's a great answer. Thank you for clarifying all this for us, the different kinds of breath work. And actually, in a few minutes, I will ask you to guide the listener into a simple breathwork practice of the White Dove that you do. I wanted to ask you one more question before we do that, and that is longevity. I was reading that lung capacity is the number one predictor of longevity. It was, in a way, it does make sense when I think about it, but it's when you see it in black and white, it makes you realize how important it is. So, is breathwork, in particular, the breathwork of the White Dove, expand or increase the lung capacity over time, therefore more chances of living longer?
Correct. As long as you drive safely, wear your helmet when you ride a motorcycle. Okay. Don't walk on the edge of cliffs. Pull your parachute when you skydive. Yes, absolutely. So most breathwork systems do not increase your lung capacity at all. So the Wim Hof, those ones, they don't at all. And here's the reason why. Is lung capacity is directly related to how much we can breathe out, not how much we can fully breathe in. And what I mean by that is that we've all heard of emphysema, right? Emphysema is a disease of inhalation. So when you inhale, you can only keep inhaling. You can't get your air out. You can't eliminate the toxins. The alveoli get so crystallized that they can expand, but then they can't contract and get the carbon dioxide out. So people who have emphysema always feel like they're drowning. The same also can go for asthma. Asthma is also a disease of inhalation. And people who have asthma, which there are about 35 million in the United States, they might be going, what do you mean it's a disease of inhalation? I can promise you this. If you get your breath and you have an asthma attack and you hold your breath and you get more carbon dioxide, you're going to be able to breathe easier because it tells your respiratory system to calm down. Your bronchioles, your bronchial tubes, your alveoli, it tells them to calm down, because even if you're not able to breathe as well, imagine if you increase your oxygen utilization and the efficiency of oxygen carbon dioxide interchange in your bloodstream, you're going to feel like you're still getting enough oxygen. So that's one reason why people who have anxiety or panic attacks and you have them breathe into a paper bag, it recycles the carbon dioxide and it calms their nervous system down. So with lung capacity, again, it requires us to do very specific exercises in order to increase our lung capacity. So at about age 30, we start losing our lung capacity. It starts going down, so that by the time an average person is around 80 years old, their lung capacity will be about 30% less than when they were 30 years old. That's a big problem. But imagine if it didn't have to be that way. Agi, I'm going to ask you a question. What do you think the longest, like the world record for breath holding underwater is by a human? Whales and dolphins don't count. They're used to it.
5, 6, 7 minutes.
Yeah. It's 24 minutes, 37 seconds by a
Wow.
Croatian freediver.
Right.
Who did some of the exercises, many more, I'm sure, of the things that I teach on my free Wednesday and my Thursday masterclasses and on my programs, along with many other things. But he did those, and He only trained for 3 years and was able to do that. So what he did is he was able to take his lung capacity from the average 5 liters, which is for men, we have about 5-liter lungs, to over 12. You can train this. And so lung capacity is so vital that studies done at the University of Buffalo in New York State, as well as the Framingham Institute, that were done over the course of decades with tens of thousands of people to come to this conclusion that lung capacity is the number one factor in predicting longevity. Well, what if you could just do that in 5 minutes a day at your house and live longer? Like literally live longer, have less allergies, less asthma, less problems, better regulation of your immune system. And there's so many benefits. It's just like a laundry list. And most people only ever focus on their breath when they're out of it, if they're sick, if they're in a place that smells bad, or if they're underwater. That's the only time people think about it. But you have upwards, some people, 29,000 times a day that you're breathing, that you could focus on this. And it is by far our most powerful energetic engine for our body. It controls every other thing. You can go for 3 weeks easily without food. Okay, it won't be comfortable, but you can go for 3 weeks without food. You can go at least 3 days without water. I have friends that do 10-day water fast, not water fast. They do dry fasts. That's not really healthy, but you can go for up to 3 days. Go anywhere on this planet for over 3 minutes without air. Let's see how you feel. Except for that guy in Croatia. He can do it. No problem. He's like, I'm not even close. But the thing is that we need this. It's very important for our life. And yet we have the most poisonous air, food, water, frequencies, whether it's 5G, other EMF, so many things that are bombarding us. We have microplastics in our food. Here in America, we have thousands of chemicals added to our food directly in order to poison us that won't be allowed in other places in the world, of course. But here they stack it up. And so we have so many things bombarding our system, our immune system, our circulatory system, our respiratory system, that having a system like the Integrated Ascension Method in your back pocket could literally be the most important thing you ever do in your life, because you need to breathe until you don't. Yeah.
The only thing I will add to that, you were saying about most people not being conscious of their breath most of the times. And for me personally, when I become conscious of my breath, I'm also becoming conscious of the present moment. So for me, and I believe for many, the focusing on the breath, even not necessarily controlling it, but being aware of the breath, is a very powerful way to take my mind away from where it's going and drag it back to here. Nate, having said that, would you like to guide us to a short breathwork session? It's been so fascinating so far with what you said, so I'm looking forward to experience what you said.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do is we'll need just a little bit of space. Okay. So I'm not going to back up too much more. My backdrop is going to fall over, but we also want to make sure that we're not driving. We're not holding children. We're not in a sword fight, or basically don't be doing anything dangerous. Be sitting. Don't do this standing. Be sitting down. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 minutes of what I like to call wave breathing. So we're not going to do this while we breathe. That's not what I mean. We're going to use our body and we're going to exhale out our mouth, down, and we're going to breathe in through our nose, filling our lungs up from the bottom up. You want your stomach to come out, let it rise up in your chest. Exhale from the top down, inhale from the bottom up. We exhale. We're using our entire body like a wave. Now, a lot of people are very bound up in their spine. It's an amazing feat of architecture. It's been supporting us all of our life, and yet most of us never really move it. And when we start to move it, we're not only doing things with our breath, we're doing things with the cerebral spinal fluid, we're doing things with our blood, we're doing things with our lymphatic system, we're doing things with our organs and actually massaging them inside. So we're going to do this for 2 full minutes, just and lead with your chest. I could kind of turn sideways. It will help if you get to the edge of your seat. I can't really do that because of where I'm at. Okay. So that way you don't have a backrest stopping you. Full up and down, up and down. Really bend over at the waist. Squeeze out your air. Okay. We're going to do that for 2 full minutes. I'm going to lead everybody through that. But then we're going to take 3 minutes, and we're going to go through what is known as the perfect breath. Now, Agi, we were just talking about this before we got on this call, that I have a free course online on YouTube that people can go to, Integrated Ascension Method, and they can actually see that right there, where they can get this DMT breath, which is a little bit different than what we're doing here, but then also this perfect breath. And science has shown that the human nervous system has a perfect breath rhythm that brings us into homeostasis and balance. So quickly, if we're in sympathetic nervous system dominance, which is fight or flight, which is most of us, we're breathing shallowly. And we're like, literally, our adrenal glands are pumping out so much epinephrine that we're always adrenalized. Simultaneously, if we go over to parasympathetic dominance and it's rest or digest, well, resting and digesting, those are 2 of the biggest energy consumption functions of our entire body. Digesting takes, the only thing that takes more blood than digesting is your brain and thinking. So this is an important thing that we want to make sure we are right in the middle. Where the things, it's neither one of those. It's right in the middle. It's homeostasis. This breath work was going to help you get there. Now, since I'm not able to share my audio, what I will do is I'm going to turn my microphone around so everybody will be able to hear this as I play it out my speakers. So first, we're going to do 2 minutes of that waving breath of our whole body. Then we're going to do this perfect breath where we breathe in through our nose for 5.5 seconds, out through our mouth for 5.5 seconds. And I will have a cello that will have an inhale tone and an exhale tone. Mm-hmm. Most important, breathe fully in through the nose and out through the mouth with your eyes closed. Let this be an internal experience. Notice what you're feeling in your body, this amazing vehicle, this avatar of consciousness that we get to experience a life in. Most people are so desensitized, they're absolutely numb to their body. This is your opportunity to really drop into yourself. It takes 5 minutes of your time. Your life is worth 5 minutes. So let's do this. I'm going to have you close your eyes, everyone. We're going to begin our wave breathing. So take a big breath in through the nose, out and bend over. Wave up, exhale, down, wave up, exhale, down, wave in and up, exhale, down, up, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, all the way out, in, out, wave down, in, up, exhale, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, exhale, down, keep going, in, out, halfway there, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Just keep going, one breath after the other, and out, in, out, 30 seconds, in, out, in, out, in, out, out, 20 seconds, in, and out, in, and out, in, and out, 10 seconds left, in, out, in, out. One more time, in and out. And just relax. And then start to breathe slowly in through the nose. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth, and relax. Out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep going. In. Left. Keep going. In and out. Very good. So as you sit quietly with your eyes closed, I just want you to take inventory. How does your body feel? How far away is your stress? How far away is the tension that you were carrying in your body before? And realize you have this ability to do this anytime. The wave breathing, okay, that may not be as acceptable to do at work, but you can always breathe slowly in through your nose and out through your mouth, fully in for around 5.5 seconds. You have the ability to calm your nervous system and your stress response literally at any time other than sleeping, consciously. So this is a tool, right? It's just a tool to help bring your body into balance and homeostasis and help you have a better day or a better now, even. Just most important is have a best now possible. And there are many, many other breathing exercises. This is the scratch of a surface of what I teach. This is not the hypoxic breath work. That involves long breath holds, certain body postures, body tension, fitness, at your own pace, of course. And this is just a very quick way that is like an immediate body hack to bring yourself from triggered or stressed or tight and tense to relaxed and present.
Thank you very much for this wonderful live guided session you gave us, Nate. And what you just said about this being a tool, I will share that from my own point of view, that it is a tool. We were saying earlier about the effort that it's needed. It is so simple, so powerful. You can do it at any time, but you have to do it. You have to take that time and actually use the tool, put the effort. So reiterating this as a message, I believe it's important. Nate, as we start wrapping this up, I mean, I could be speaking with you for a very long time, and now that we've had this conversation, perhaps at some point in the future we can do a trilogy and perhaps do a third one. So I find breathing in particular and breathwork fascinating. Where would you like to direct our listeners after this, after what they have experienced?
I would love to have everyone come and first of all get my app. It's called I Am Breath Mastery on Google Play or Apple Store. So I Am Breath Mastery. That means Integrated Ascension Method, but I also love the acronym I Am because those are the two most powerful words in the English language, and whatever you say after that is what you are manifesting, right? So this helps you master your breath. I Am Breath Mastery. So that's the first thing on the Google Play and Apple Store. The second thing is that I have all kinds of different coaching programs that you can find on my website at iampure.energy. And finally, because our health is everything. And we were talking about this before, Agi, that I'm not sure when this is going to air. So I'll just say on March 3rd, 2025, after experiencing some numbness and some nerve issues in my body, I went and had an MRI done, and a brain tumor was discovered at the base of my brain stem. So what's interesting, though, is this is a type of tumor that the doctor said only occurs in people who have had massive radiation exposure, like a nuclear bomb. I have never been around radiation like that, unless it's a directed energy weapon, non-human intelligence. I was around somebody's microwave and it didn't have proper safeguarding and it nuked my head. I don't know. But I also know that this is an emotional thing, and that most tumors are now being found to be parasitic. So I'm definitely going into parasite cleansing, but it is also something that is not operable where it's at. So this is an interesting journey and chapter in my next part of this life. This will not be my final chapter, but I do need some assistance. So I have a GoFundMe campaign, which we'll put in the show notes. And if anybody out there, you're feeling that donating to this cause for my treatments would be in alignment with you, I would sure appreciate that. And also sharing it with your friends. There's something special about when we give. That's why Christmas is so special and Hanukkah is so special. It's not about what we get. When we're kids, yes. But when we're adults, I mean, when you see somebody's eyes light up with a gift that you really thought hard about giving them, or you did something nice for someone that literally changed their entire day, you don't know what an impact you made. So any kind of a donation of even $1, or sharing this, or turning me on and enjoy having people who have financial means to help with this would be much appreciated. And we'll have that in the show notes. So other than that, there's something I have to say, that breathing is the key to our life, and every single one is sacred. Every single one, and there are no ordinary moments. Trust me when I say, you find out you have a brain tumor, nothing else is going to matter. I can tell you from experience. My angers, my triggers, my anything that I've done bad in my life, my worries about money, none of it matters. But none of it's important. The only thing that's important is enjoying right here, right now, because who knows what's in the future for me. We all have the same future, right? A box or an urn. We all have that. But it's a matter of when and how,
Yes.
and our legacy. So when you donate, you actually help me to help more people. So I appreciate that very much. And Agi, thank you so much for having me on. As always, it's a pleasure, brother.